we really didn't know what was in the bottle. And not only did we not know, there was no way to find out.
Meghan wants people to start telling the truth. The truth is, your wine sucks.
Is that what the next ploy is going to be? Let's launch some champagne to mark Diana's anniversary? And at this point, I would not put it past her.
But launching an alcohol product on Princess Diana's birthday, it's not tone deaf. It's incredibly insensitive.
Princess Diana passed away from a drunk driver. Yeah.
What happens when royalty meets rosé and the receipts don't add up? Meghan Markle's latest $90 wine launch was supposed to be elegant, premium, and luxurious, but the internet has questions. No ingredients listed, no vineyard disclosed, and critics? They're calling it a beautifully packaged mystery juice. Meanwhile, Cameron Diaz, the Hollywood actress who quietly entered the wine game, is winning hearts, shelves, and headlines with nothing but hard facts, transparency, and actual ingredients. This isn't just a wine war, it's a credibility collapse. So what went wrong? And did Cameron Diaz just expose Meghan's branding illusion with a single bottle? Let's unpack the full story, because the deeper you go, the messier it gets. A launch that sparked instant controversy. The launch of Meghan Markle's wine brand, as ever, was meant to mark a new chapter in her entrepreneurial journey. But it didn't take long for things to take a turn. Right out of the gate, the timing of the launch raised eyebrows, as Ever made its debut on what would have been Princess Diana's birthday. For many royal watchers and longtime supporters of the late princess, the move felt unsettling. Over the years, Meghan has drawn numerous symbolic parallels to Diana, and releasing a lifestyle product, specifically alcohol, on that particular date came across to many as more calculated than coincidental. Instead of generating admiration, the choice ignited discussions across forums and social media platforms. Was this a tribute, a marketing tactic, or something else entirely? Critics questioned the sensitivity of launching a premium consumer product on a day many consider emotionally significant, especially given the deep emotional associations attached to Diana's legacy. And then came the price, a 3-bottle minimum priced at $90. That's $30 per bottle, clearly positioning the product in the luxury market. But as curious consumers began to explore the product details, they were met with a surprising absence of information. No grape varietals were listed. The name of the vineyard was missing. Even the identity of the winemaker was nowhere to be found. Instead of transparency, shoppers were offered elegant adjectives and poetic metaphors. What was promised as a refined, high-end rosé started to feel like an expensive mystery in a glass. In a market where informed buyers look for origin details, sustainability certifications, and clear ingredient disclosures, as Ever was curiously silent. That silence quickly became the focal point of a growing controversy. Cameron Diaz's quiet but powerful counter-move. While Meghan's wine launch was met with skepticism, Cameron Diaz had already carved a different path in the wine world, one built on transparency, credibility, and genuine involvement. Her brand, Avaline, didn't rely on vague promises or curated mystery. Instead, Cameron took time to learn the business firsthand. She visited vineyards in France, worked closely with winemakers, and partnered with a woman-led production team focused on clean, ethical practices. Every Avaline bottle includes the full list of grape varietals, region of origin, and any additives, giving consumers the clarity they expect. It's organic-friendly, vegan, and made without unnecessary chemicals. The packaging is minimalist but informative, designed to reflect honesty rather than illusion. And consumers responded. In 2024 alone, Avaline sold over 213,000 cases. The price? Just under $25 a bottle, or even less with a subscription. While Meghan leaned on branding and mystique, Cameron delivered real value. Her name didn't just appear on the label, it was backed by effort, research, and personal investment. The backlash begins. At first glance, as Ever looked like a polished premium launch. Meghan's Instagram campaign featured soft hues, romantic captions, and picturesque bottles set against sunlit backdrops. It was elegant, dreamy, and carefully curated to evoke luxury. But once wine lovers and wellness-conscious consumers looked beyond the visuals, they noticed something important was missing: substance. There were no grape varietals listed, no mention of where the wine was made. No insight into the production process or any certifications, just poetic descriptions about melons and sunlight. Didn't take long for questions to pour in. In a time when shoppers check every label for details, especially for health, origin, and sustainability, Meghan's wine came up empty. Critics began to point out that while the presentation was refined, the product offered no real information. Some compared the vague language on the bottle to a horoscope, beautiful to read, but ultimately meaningless. What was marketed as an elegant experience started feeling more like an aesthetic performance with no clear foundation. Influencers pull back and silence sparks doubt. As concerns around transparency grew, another red flag appeared, this time from influencers. Several high-profile content creators who had initially promoted as ever began distancing themselves from the brand. One beauty blogger with over 3 million followers removed her collaboration post entirely. Another lifestyle influencer, known for luxury kitchen reviews, shared a story praising Cameron Diaz's Aveline, just days after soft launching Meghan's wine. The shift wasn't loud, but it was noticeable. Meanwhile, Meghan's brand stayed silent. Fans began leaving comments on As Ever's Instagram page, asking reasonable questions. Where the wine came from, whether it was organic, or who produced it. Instead of replying, the comments were quietly deleted. That silence only fueled more suspicion. In the digital world, dodging basic questions doesn't go unnoticed. Rather than reassure curious customers, the deleted comments and influencer retreat sent a clear message. Something wasn't adding up. And in a market where trust is everything, silence can be louder than words. The industry spills the truth behind the bottle. Just when the situation seemed like it couldn't get more complicated, industry insiders began to speak up. According to a source from a California distributor, Meghan's wine wasn't crafted in a boutique vineyard or artisanal winery. It was allegedly sourced from a bulk wine supplier, facilities known for mass-producing inexpensive wine used by hotels or private label brands. In other words, the product might not be special at all, just repackaged under a luxurious name. That revelation changed everything. The $30 per bottle price suddenly seemed steep for what insiders were calling rebranded stock, and the lack of information on the label made perfect sense. There was likely nothing exclusive to reveal. It wasn't vineyard to glass storytelling. It was marketing wrapped around mystery. What made it worse was that Meghan had reportedly been searching for a CEO to run the business even before finalizing the product. That's unusual. Most founders begin with a passion for the craft and grow their team once the vision is proven. But in this case, the vision seemed like it was being outsourced before the foundation was even laid. Industry professionals began calling it what many suspected, not a wine brand, but a calculated branding experiment, one that underestimated how savvy today's consumers really are. When the brand became the problem, the deeper people dug, the more questionable things became. Meghan's wine wasn't just vague, it was oddly vacant. No origin story, no production details, no official certifications. It relied entirely on elegant packaging and vague language, hoping to create the illusion of luxury without offering the proof behind it. But in today's world, that approach simply doesn't work. Consumers no longer accept beautifully designed labels as substitutes for quality. They want facts about ingredients, sustainability, sourcing, and transparency. And when those facts are missing, the assumption is that there's something to hide. That assumption only grew stronger as wine enthusiasts started comparing As Ever to other celebrity brands, particularly Cameron Diaz's Aveline. Wine influencers began asking basic questions online. What grapes are used? Where's the vineyard? Is it even made in Napa as implied? And when those questions went unanswered, trust started to erode. For a brand claiming to be premium and thoughtful, Meghan's rosé began to feel like a placeholder, more presentation than purpose. The internet reacts and the illusion cracks. Social media platforms lit up. TikToks comparing As Ever to horoscope readings went viral. Reddit threads, once supportive of Meghan's ventures, started turning skeptical. One chart showed the labels of Aveline and As Ever side by side. Cameron's included grape variety, region, and ingredients. Meghan's featured abstract terms like elegant notes and a sunshine warmth. What was meant to be poetic started feeling evasive, but what truly shifted public opinion wasn't just the wine, it was the contradiction. Meghan has often positioned herself as an advocate for truth, empowerment, and thoughtful living. Yet here she was, launching a product with no clear identity, no verifiable information, and no real answers. That gap between image and reality struck a nerve. In a world where wasn't the premium product people had expected, it was branding dressed up as substance. The final blow, industry whispers and consumer trust broken. Just as the backlash was reaching a boiling point, the industry weighed in, and what they revealed changed everything. A West Coast distributor claimed the wine wasn't even produced in Montecito or Napa Valley, as subtly implied, but was instead sourced from a bulk supplier that mass produces wine for generic labels. This meant Meghan's $30 per bottle offering could be the same base wine used by hotels or discount retailers, simply relabeled and repackaged. Worse yet, as ever reportedly didn't list its alcohol percentage, a basic legal requirement in many countries. That triggered serious concern among wine professionals. A wine consultant who had previously been approached by Meghan's team later posted a cryptic message online saying they had walked away from the project due to its complete lack of authenticity, transparency, and structure. Then came the influencer retreat. One by one, content creators began deleting posts, removing mentions of the wine, and avoiding questions. Some even redirected their audience to Aveline, praising its clean labeling and approachable pricing. This wasn't just a failed product launch. It was a credibility collapse in real time. Consumers felt misled, influencers backed away, and retailers began hesitating. A brand that was supposed to represent elegance and empowerment now stood on shaky ground, unable to answer the simplest of questions. This wasn't just a wine launch gone wrong, it was a turning point. Meghan Markle built her image around authenticity and empowerment, but when it ever hit the market, those values didn't show up. No ingredient list, no vineyard, no answers, just mystery wrapped in elegant branding. Cameron Diaz, on the other hand, did the work. She learned the business, partnered with real producers, and gave consumers everything they needed to trust her product. And they responded. The difference couldn't be clearer. One brand delivered reality, the other sold an illusion. In a world where people expect honesty, silence can speak volumes. And the question now is, can Meghan rebuild that trust? If you want to stay updated on how this unfolds, hit subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and keep watching, because this story is far from over.